Howdy, partner. Well, you know this town ain't big enough for the two of us. Yeah. Reach for the sky. Well, what the hell is that? Oh my God! Yeah, you better run! Hey guys, it's Gundini here, and this week I got something really cool for you. It's one of my favorite revolvers that have ever been introduced, just because I think it's so cool looking. This week is something a little bit more unconventional when it comes to the revolver world, but this is what they call a Chiappa Rhino. Yes, I know, it's spelled Chiappa, but it's pronounced Chiappa, guys. So this is the Chiappa Rhino. It is introduced by Chiappa Firearms in 2010. It's a cool, unique revolver. It was actually designed by a couple Italian designers named by Emilio Ghiscione. I'm probably mispronouncing that. And Antonio Cudazzo. Probably mispronouncing both of those. Now, this is the last design that Emilio created before he passed away in 2008. So this is kind of a tribute gun to Emilio Ghiscione. Yet again, probably mispronouncing it. Let me know in the comment section. But this is kind of a cool revolver because it is shares similar aspects to one of his previous designs, the Mateba auto revolver. Mateba, I'm not sure how that one's pronounced, but it's very similar in the design aspects, and I'll probably pop one up on the screen right here just so you guys can see the similarities. But what's really cool about these guys is they were designed to mitigate recoil the best as possible, and everyone that knows is the best way to mitigate recoil is to get that bore axis as close to your hand as possible. Well, the Chiappa Rhino does that because it fires from the bottom cylinder. Yeah, that's the bottom cylinder down here on the very bottom, which is kind of cool. It's kind of a neat design because what it does is that puts that barrel right in line with the webbing of your hand, which it, of course, puts that bore axis right in the webbing of your hand, which makes it very low muzzle flip in these guys, which is kind of nice. Now, what's also really unique about the design of this guy is it's got more of a squared or octangular, I guess you call it octangular, cylinder wheel. And that is designed to keep the profile of this guy very slim so you can still conceal carry it. Another cool aspect about this gun, besides the fact that it shoots from the bottom, is because it shoots from the bottom, you'd wonder where do they put the hammer? And you'd be right on par with the rest of us if you thought this was the hammer of the firearm, when really this is just a cocking mechanism to show that the firearm is cocked. The actual hammer is inside the frame there. It's actually kind of neat because it makes it so where you can still have that double single action like a normal revolver. It's really neat concept, and this one is the 40DS, which means it is the 4-inch model. They introduced a bunch of different models, everything from the 20DS all the way up to the 60DS. And of course, the 40, 60, 20, all of those refer to the barrel length. So it's pretty easy to reconcile which one's which. This specific model is all black with traditional wood grip and a fiber optic sights, which is kind of neat. These guys are fairly light, fairly easy to hold because they are machined from one piece of an aluminum alloy, and then they have steel inserts in the structure parts, of course, like barrels and, you know, breech faces, things like that, where steel need to be. But it's aluminum in all the parts that could be lightened for nice carry use. Makes it pretty nice. This is a really neat revolver and a cool concept. And me personally, I think it kind of looks like the Good Samaritan, the revolver that Hellboy uses. Kind of the reason why I fell in love with this guy. All right, so I want to show you a couple of cool things about this guy. It is empty. There is no rounds in the chamber, but what's really neat is it does have a very nice trigger pull for what it is. So let's go ahead and do that double action trigger so you guys can see how it looks. It is a long and fairly decent trigger pull, but it's smooth. There's no grittiness in it. It's just smooth all the way back to the back. It does get a little heavy once you get towards the back of the trigger, and then it breaks. Very quick and easy. But what I think is really cool about this guy is the single action trigger. So we go into single action, and you can notice that hammer goes all the way back to the rear of the firearm, or the rear of the trigger well. That's pretty far back by itself. But then when you go into the single action, check this out. Very, very light. You're on the wall. There is no staging of the trigger. You're on that wall, and then ready? It just breaks that easy. And then your reset is all the way out here because it is a double action revolver. But it is a phenomenal single action trigger, and I will say during testing, this guy surprised me with how light this trigger is. But you know, you guys didn't just come here for me to talk about the specs of this guy. Although it is a cool looking revolver, you guys want to know how it shoots, right? Me too. But before we do that, let's get to today's sponsor of the video.
Have you ever Googled yourself? Well, recently I had, and I wasn't pleased with what I saw. I Googled my name and the place where I live, and sure enough, all my information popped up. I mean, it had not only my place of residence, but my last 3 places of residency. It also had not only my current phone number, but my last 3 phone numbers. And what makes matters even worse is it had my significant other's information. And she's very cautious about how she portrays herself online, so that way things like that doesn't happen. But because I'm not that cautious, unfortunately, she got tied in with it. That was very concerning. But the fact that they can also find out the place I currently work was very unnerving. And that kind of makes a situation where the wrong people can get your information. And when you're building an online presence like I am now, it's very concerning, especially when you have little ones to protect. But that's why I partnered with today's sponsor, Aura. Aura alerts me anytime that my information is sold on the dark web or to any data brokers, and automatically puts in requests to remove that information. With a recent AT&T data breach, over 73 million customers got their information leaked online. So having a service like Aura today is very crucial, more than ever. Aura provides all-around protection from monitoring credit freezes and fraud alerts to ensuring I have a strong passwords to secure my accounts. The best part of all is it's all in one place, so I don't have to go through multiple different apps just to get all this information and secure my online presence. I value my privacy, and I value yours. So you can go to aura.com/gundeity and get your 2-week free trial. Also linked in the description below. Let's take this year by storm and protect our online security with Aura, and protect the ones that you love.
But let's get back to this Chiappa Rhino. Definitely a cool little revolver. One thing that you will point out that most people will know that have shot firearms before is with the barrel being on the bottom cylinder, there's 2 things you got to look out for. One is the sights are way up here, the barrel is way down here. So you're talking a good inch or so difference, maybe 1.5 inches between point of aim and point of impact, which kind of makes a parallax shift on you that you got to get used to. Definitely something to definitely try to get used to. Second thing you'll notice is because the cylinder is on the bottom, you do not want to put a thumbs forward grip, because the cylinder being on the bottom, that's where the gases are going to come out. And you'll see there's a little gas like loop down there. That's exactly where the gases are going to come out, right where you would put your thumb. It's going to burn you if you do so. So you want to modify your grip if you are a semi-automatic shooter. If you're a revolver shooter, you don't have to worry about much. It's the same thing. But because it is a bottom cylinder shooter, we're going to have to aim a little bit high on the target. So let's go ahead and try to put some rounds on target, and we're going to shoot a little high on this target. All right, so that is all 6 rounds of this guy. It is a little bit hard to figure out point of aim, point of impact on this guy. And I am only about 6 or 7 yards away from the target. So I'm not actually far enough to really see a parallax. Well, I'm too close for the parallax shift, I should say. And I'm not far enough away to where the parallax shift doesn't matter anymore. So definitely something to remind yourself if you get one of these guys for self-defense. If you're at self-defense ranges, it's going to be hitting a lot lower than where your sights are aiming. You just got to remember that when you're shooting. But let's get some more rounds on it. That was 38 special. Let's put some hot boys in this because this is chambered in 357. All right, so I did split the difference on this guy between 357 and 38 because I kind of want to see what both feel like in this guy. I personally have shot it with both, and it's a different recoil than I'm used to, but I want to show you on camera what I mean. So first couple shots are going to be in 38 special. We're going to go single action on this guy. Hard to remember to put your fingers up there. Now double action. All right, so now I'm going to go one-handed with 38 special, just so you guys can see this. We're going to go single action, one-handed. That's your 38. Now we're going to switch it to 357. Single action, 357. I don't know if you could see it on camera, but it's a lot more aggressive. I'm going to take some slow-mo shots so that way you guys can see that. But definitely a lot more aggressive than the 38. Let's go ahead and put some double-handed shots on this guy. It is a lot more difficult to hit your shots on that with the sight so much higher with the 357 because the 357 is a hotter load. So it's hard to tell where it's going to hit. But I'm sure with practice, it's very easy to get on target with this guy pretty quickly. But right now, it's just me shooting a few boxes to see how she does. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, so you saw the difference between 38 special and 357. 357 through this guy is a lot more aggressive. Now, both calibers, the recoil is felt down here in the bottom of the grip. I don't know how, because the barrel's up here. Maybe it's the way it rotates on the bore axis, because where your finger rests, you kind of force it back down here, and that kind of gives that pressure right down here in the bottom of the grip. But for me, it feels like I'm about to snap this grip every time I shoot the 357. I don't know if they make a rubberized grip for this, but if they do, that's definitely something you might want to look into if this is something you choose. I personally really like the way it looks with the wood grip, and I don't plan on shooting this on a regular basis, so I'll probably just keep the wood grips on myself. But if you were going to shoot this or carry this, maybe switch it to some rubberized grips just to change that felt recoil. Might help you. I don't know. Or maybe some target grip, something with a little bit longer back strap here, so that way your hands aren't, stopping halfway down the grip. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I don't want to point the gun at myself. So, all right. So now that we've seen 357 and 38, I just want to kind of dump rounds and see how quickly we can get rounds off on this guy. I'm not aiming at anything in particular. I just want to see how rapid we could shoot this guy. So let's go ahead and try this guy and see what happens. Just pretty much like every other revolver, it's a double action. So at the end of the day, you could get them off pretty quickly. I will say that I'm not sure how it shows on the camera, but it felt like there was a lower muzzle rise on this guy. But, if we're going to do that, we might as well do it with the full standard load, right? So let's go ahead and get some 357 and see what it does. All right, we got her all loaded back up with 357. Let's go ahead and dump these rounds out and see how quick I can be with 357. Ready? I'm going to say that hurt a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Definitely something cool to check out. All right, guys, so in summary, this is a really cool revolver. It looks really cool. It functions pretty well. It's not the most comfortable gun to shoot, and it's a little bit unergonomical, I should say, in the aspect that point of aim, point of impact is a little different, and felt recoil is a little bit different than you're used to. So it will take a little bit getting used to. But overall, it is a really cool revolver, and I think they did manage to do what they were anticipating on doing by keeping that muzzle down when you're shooting it. It does change the point of impact on your hand, so it does take a little bit getting used to for the felt recoil. It's not as much of a flip as most revolvers are. So definitely something to get used to. Me personally, I like it. Is it going to be something that I will switch up to down the road as a carry gun? Probably not. I do think it's a cool revolver. I think it's cool to stay in my collection, but this is more of a novelty piece to me. Now, to you, this might be a carry gun. Who knows? Definitely something cool to check out, and, you know, I like it personally. But, you know, tell me what you guys think in the comment section. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit a like, comment in the comment section, and check out the links in the description, because there's a lot of cool things down there that help you guys out, including today's sponsor. So definitely check it all out. And guys, this is Gun Didi, and I'll see you for the next one.
I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. They call me a